An important aspect of becoming a good installer is the ability to read and understand the dealer cut list and installation diagrams. This training video will not cover the dealer cut list. For information how to fill out and read a dealer cut list, please refer to our dealer cut list video tutorials. Instead, this training DVD will focus on how to read and understand the installation diagrams. As part of each job, the design consultant should make up a set of installation diagrams, which are usually part of the quote. These diagrams need to show in detail each closet system that will need to be installed and where they are to be installed. In order to prepare for the job, an installer needs to take time to review these diagrams, confirm that the dealer cut list was filled out properly, and make sure all the components required for the job have been received. Start by studying each closet system to be installed. Look for any unusual thing or special note that the design consultant has made. By reviewing these things now before you're on the job site, it gives you the opportunity to clarify anything with the design consultant and not have to do this in the customer's home. This will give you and your company more credibility and a professional look. Figure out in your mind beforehand how you will proceed with the installation and the best sequence of steps to get the job done effectively and efficiently. As you review each closet system, start making a list of all the rail and cap and wardrobe tube that you will require. You do this by looking at each wall where a closet section is to be installed. Make sure to take into account any finished gables and deduct 3/4 of an inch off the total length of the rail and cap. Here's an example of some installation diagrams for the brown job. With this particular job, there are 3 pages of closets, totaling 6 closets to be installed. As we look at the first closet, the organizer system goes from one end wall to the other. There are no notes that the end gables are finished, so the designer has used a standard gable, which is good. Using standard gables helps me as the installer to get through the job quicker, as I can use one-sided dowels instead of screw-in dowels that do take longer to install, and reposition if I make a mistake. By using standard gables, I also don't have to deduct 3/4 of an inch for each finished gable. With this first closet, I can start creating my rail and cap cut list. I note that the wall is 39 5/8 inches long. So I will need one piece of rail and cap that is that long. Hopefully the design consultant has measured the job accurately, and you as the installer will get to know each design consultant and how they measure. If you find that the rail and cap always seems to be a little tight when installing jobs for one particular design consultant, you may want to consistently take off 1/4 of an inch whenever you're doing a job for that design consultant. This will give you a little wiggle room when installing the rail and cap, and you won't have to fight with it. I also want to start my wardrobe tube cut list at this time. It's important when creating these lists that you separate the list by room, so when it comes time to cut the rail and cap and wardrobe tube, you can label these items and save a lot of time during the installation trying to figure out where everything is to go. Look at the diagram for each hanging section. I usually start with the longest hanging section first. This way my cut list will consistently have my longest items first and help me organize myself when I start cutting, so I will limit the amount of waste. In this first diagram, I have 2 hanging sections that are both 18 3/8 inches long. When using oval wardrobe tube, you need to deduct 5/16 of an inch to allow for the thickness of the wardrobe tube supports. Since it's hard for me to see the little 1/16 inch mark, a little trick that I use is to look for the 1/4 inch and then take off an additional 1/16. For example, in this first closet there is a long hang and a shelf hang section. Both of these sections require 1 wardrobe tube. The shelf length for both sections is 18 3/8 of an inch wide, so I will need to deduct 5/16 off this length. This will give me 18 1/16 of an inch, or if I look for the closest 1/4 inch mark, I will need two pieces 18 inches plus, the plus telling me that I will need to add 1/16. Now let's go through all of the rest of the closets in real time, and I'll let you know what I'm looking for. Remember, as you become more skilled and knowledgeable with installations, this process will not take very long. The second closet is a broom closet. I see that the back wall is 23 3/4 inches long, and so I'll indicate that I'll need a piece of rail and cap that long on my cut list. I also see that I have a double shelf hang section. Now, double shelf hang sections are installed so that the top shelf is 76 inches off the ground. So this is a non-standard height compared to what I usually install a rail and cap. So I'll need to make sure that I take a mental note of that. This way I don't make a mistake when I install a rail and cap. The shelf length is 21 3/4 of an inch. And so I'll need to have a piece of wardrobe tube that is 21 1/2 inches minus, or in other words 21 7/16 inches long. Next, I have a linen closet with a back wall 71 3/4 inches long, and so I'll need one piece of rail and cap that length. Since there's no hanging sections, I will not need to indicate any wardrobe tube for this closet. When I look at this, I see that I have two towers. They're both 16 inches deep, but I see a note that the design consultant has added that the two top shelves are 12 inches deep. I'll need to make sure that the cut list was filled out properly and that I have two fixed shelves that are 12 inches deep and two adjustable shelves that are 12 inches deep. Often the design consultant, when using 7-foot gables, will indicate on the dealer cut list to not include rail and cap notches. Because these towers sit on the floor, they can be mounted to the wall using L brackets instead of using the rail and cap and suspension brackets. This will save hardware and also time in the installation, but you need to make sure that the design consultant ordered it this way. So let's take a look at the dealer cut list for this job. As I scroll down, I see a note on the bottom, Pantry drill all 7-foot 16-inch deep gables with no rail notches. This tells me that I don't need any rail and cap for this particular job. On page 2, I have a left bedroom closet and a right bedroom closet. Both these closets are mirror images of each other. I see that the left bedroom closet has a back wall that is 98 5/8 inches long, or 98.625 inches. This is longer than a full length of rail and cap. And so I'll indicate on my rail and cap cut list that I'll need one full length and one length that is at least 16 inches long. I usually like to have a 16-inch piece because most studs in a house are 16 inches apart. In this way, I can make sure that I cut the rail and cap in such a way that it falls on the center of a stud. As I look at the elevation view, I see that I have two double hang sections and one 36-inch wide tower. Both the double hang sections are 29 1/2 inches wide. I'll need four 29 1/4 inch minus wardrobe tubes. In other words, they'll be 29 3/16 inches long. On the right bedroom closet, I have a back wall that is 98 3/4 inches long, and so I'll indicate that I need a rail cap full length and then another piece that again is at least 16 inches long. I'll cut these on site to fit. This isn't quite a mirror image because when I look at the elevation view, I see that the two double hang sections are different sizes. One is 29 1/2 inches wide to match the other closet, but the last double hang section is 29 3/4 inches. And so if I take off 1/4 inch, then I'll need two pieces that are 29 1/4 minus, making a note to myself that I'll have to deduct an additional 1/16 of an inch, and I'll need two pieces that are 29 1/2 inches minus. On the last page, I have a master bedroom closet and also a pantry to install. The master bedroom closet on wall A has a wall length of 101 5/8 of an inch. This is of course much longer than a full length of rail and cap. So I'll take one full length and I'll make a note that I'll need another piece at least 24 inches long. On wall B I see 16-inch deep by 7-foot high gables being used in this tower. Since I've already checked the dealer cut list and seen that on the bottom there is a note that all 16-inch deep gables have no rail notches, I know that in this particular installation I don't need any rail and cap for this tower. When I look at the elevation view for wall A, I see that the first section is a double hang section, 25 3/8 inches wide, and then I have three sections that are each 24 inches wide. One that's a shelf hang, the next a medium hang, and then the last one a long hang section. This is good designing. When the design consultant designs a closet using standard widths, it really makes the installation go much quicker. On this closet, I'll need to have two 25 inches plus, meaning plus 1/16 of an inch, for the first double hang section. And then I'll need three 23 3/4 inch minus, in other words 23 11/16 inch pieces of wardrobe tube. Last of all, I have the pantry. Now I already know that these are 7-foot by 16-inch deep gables, and so they will not have any rail notches, and so I don't need to worry about any rail and cap. And since there's no hanging sections, I won't need to worry about any wardrobe tube. However, let's take a close look at this pantry. I see that the way the design consultant made this, instead of using corner shelves, they've used a system abutting wall A up to wall B. And so wall B will partially be hidden by a gable on wall A. And this is indicated in the elevation view. Now as I look at this pantry elevation view on wall A, I see that they've also included 4 pullouts that are 24 inches wide by 16 inches deep. A pullout is just an extra small drawer that is spaced further apart. So I'm going to check the dealer cut list to make sure that this has been ordered properly. As I look at the dealer cut list, I see that there is 4 24-inch wide by 16-inch deep extra small drawers that have been ordered with a 3mm tape slab face on a melamine box. And so I know that this has been ordered correctly. Taking a close look at the diagrams before going to the job will save a lot of time and help me as the installer to get through the job and the installation much quicker.